32 bold predictions, impromptu style. I haven't prepared a single one. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to make 32 bold predictions, one for each team. I might throw a couple wild card predictions in at the end. Maybe we'll call it 1 or 2 or 3 bonus predictions, but 32 predictions. Each NFL team gets one. They won't all be fantasy football. Some of them might be NFL football. Just a prediction. That show, Monday through Friday show, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Here we go. This is going to be an interesting edition of the Fantasy Football Show. Here to make a bold prediction about every single team. Let's start in the AFC. Let's work straight down each division and make a prediction. I might even make a division winner prediction, and later on we'll go through the wins and losses and all that on a different show. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll mix that in. But here we go. Ravens prediction 2025. I'm going to say my prediction is that Lamar Jackson disappoints fantasy owners and has a down year, whether that's due to injury. I know some of these are going to be negative. People won't like them. Due to injury, there's been inconsistency in Lamar Jackson's fantasy football life before. He's been up and down. He was remarkable last year. There's either an injury or some sort of, up and down season for him. He's had these before. Remember a couple years ago, he was awful through 8 weeks. The Herbert rookie year, I believe it was, where people that had Justin Herbert as their rookie second backup quarterback in fantasy, they actually had to put Herbert in mid-season because he busted through 8 weeks. Not trying to say that he's bad. I'm not saying he can't rebound the next year, but this is a quarterback that has been very inconsistent in the past. And I think that with Derrick Henry potentially dropping off a little bit, maybe getting hurt himself, the Ravens could be in store for some bumpy roads in this division, a very tough division. And I'm going to say that we're going to kick it off with a kind of downer, a Debbie Downer prediction. I'm sorry, Lamar owners are going to be really upset over this prediction. And more so in fantasy, real quickly, put his graphic back up. He's going so high. He's going around 4. I know so is Burrow. I know so is Josh Allen and JD5. But I feel like Lamar's also taken a beating over the years. Injuries are always a concern. The more you've been out there running, getting hit, I'm gonna say Lamar disappoints, and that could be by way of extension of Henry, getting hurt, by way of just the offense not being quite the same. A lot of people thought that this team should have drafted one of the top 4 running backs just to protect itself and keep the identity of the running game intact in case something does happen and Henry takes a tumble. My prediction for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow throws for 45-plus touchdowns in 2025. Burrow had a remarkable year in 2024 anyway. I don't think this will come as much of a surprise to people, but I think he scores over 45 touchdowns when you include his rushing. This could be like a 48-50 touchdown season for him. I think Burrow throws for 45-plus touchdowns, and they win the division. And I also believe that Joe Burrow marches his way into at least the championship game. And this is a team that people say, look, they only had 1 year to prepare for this run when they had to rebuild the defense, right? They did everything they could on offense this offseason. And the funny thing about people, little jokers and clowns that come in here and say, Smitty, they can't win because of their defense. They'll score 50, but the opposing team will score 51. Look, this team addressed the defense. The team is coaching up the defense. The team is getting even better on offense. Chase Brown's going to take another step forward. They didn't draft a running back. Chase Brown escapes everything that we thought could be detrimental to his fantasy value, and T. Higgins is locked down. Yoshi Voss is bulking up. This is a very good offense. I reckon that they score 51 when everyone else scores 50, if that is the case and angle you want to take, Bob. But here's the thing. The thing that people don't understand, they've got multiple seasons to get this under control, this defensive concern. They literally just signed Jamar Chase. They literally just signed T. Higgins. Their contracts are staggered off 1 year. So you can franchise tag one year and franchise tag one the other year. They got a fresh new set of years to work with this team to build it up. No one said they had to do it all in one offseason. That is the biggest joke that people make. Oh, they spent too much on T. Higgins. Smitty, they're never going to be able to fix their defense. Did you know or think about, Bob, that they had multiple years to do this? And it was such a blessing in disguise that they didn't give Jamar Chase the extension last offseason. It was a blessing in disguise they didn't work things out with T. Higgins last offseason, because now with this new year, last year was a throwaway year. It was a great year statistically. This team looked very, very good. But it was great that they get to reset the contracts now and get to move forward and march forward with this 4 and 5 years with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, rather than have a wasted year in the rearview mirror. It's Bengals time. It's Bengals country up in this mug. Where's our Bengals helmet when we need it? Our Jamar Chase helmet. His signature might be small, one of the smaller ones in the industry, but his play is big. And the Bengals are going to do it live in 2025. 45 passing touchdowns, and add on the rushing, could be a 50 TD season for the division-winning Bengals who go to the championship game. Do it live.
You've just been Smitty approved.
And by the way, I didn't give the disapprove to Lamar and the Ravens, so here you go.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Now, we march on over to the Cleveland Browns. You're taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. These guys don't know what they're doing. This is a clown show. This is a group of people that think they know a little about football, and they're trying to run an organization. They're taking Shedeur. They're not taking Shedeur. They take Shedeur. Instead of taking Shedeur, we take Dylan Gabriel, who I honestly don't know if he can even throw a football. He's not going to make it in the NFL. Are we joking? Are we joking? So we'll put an obstacle in front of Shedeur. We'll try and dumb down his value as if it's gonna help anybody, to make sure we're not as committed to him. That's a real smart idea. Let's lower his expectation. Let's lower his commitment in case something goes awry. And this whole notion that coaches are concerned about drafting Shedeur, this is the dumbest thing that's going around in the industry right now. That people are actually repeating this is making me scratch my head and say, what in the hell is going on? Don't we have some smart people in the industry? The thing that is going around is that coaches were afraid to draft Shedeur because they were afraid to be replaced by Deion Sanders. Let me tell you something. That's the attitude of an Eberflus. You remember Eberflus said, hey, I don't want to bring in Kingsbury, because if I bring in Kingsbury, he's too polarizing. He might overshadow me. He might take my job. Kingsbury was wanting to come over to coach Caleb Williams, who's practically his second son. That they're almost family. Caleb at USC, his last year at USC, right before he entered the NFL, Kingsbury was his QB coach at USC. They're like this. He wanted to be the offensive coordinator. And Eberflus and Ryan Poles, the worst GM in the league, Eberflus and Shane Waldron. I called this from the beginning. People say I'm a Bears hater because they don't agree with my take. How about my take's just writing, you don't like it, so anything you don't like that I say becomes a hater comment? No, that's not the way it works on this channel. We're unbiased, we're unafraid, and we come at you with the truth, whether you like it or not. And so, anyways, the mentality of the Bears to not bring in Kingsbury, that's, if anybody is actually thinking, I'm not going to draft Shedeur at least high, because my job's on the line maybe, and I might be replaced by Deion. First of all, the GM is partly or mostly responsible for hiring a head coach. So the head coach worried about his job has no relation to the draft pick. The draft pick's not always by the head coach either. It's by everybody. The sum total, the GM, everybody included, the owner has a say. But the fact that people think that the coach is making all the decisions because of his job, it doesn't even make sense. This team doesn't make sense. This team is a debacle. Deshaun Watson won't play another snap for the Browns, but he's under contract with the most massive, disappointing contract in the history of the NFL. Worst trade ever, worst contract ever. Congratulations, Browns. You own both of those. You could have fixed it. You could have changed it. You could have drafted. You could have drafted Travis Hunter and then taken Shedeur Sanders, and you would have sold seats. Tickets would have been sold out. This would have been an amazing situation. But no, the Bears decided to crap all over their own situation. This is a tough environment to be in and live in. I'm going to say they're horrible. This is can they win some games? Sure. But this is the last place team in the division. Okay, by far, in a way. What is my prediction? I don't even know what I can grasp at here. My prediction here is that Dylan Sampson is... My prediction is that Dylan Sampson, he might just be a chef because he's going to be cooking at some point.
Let him cook.
But Smitty, Judkins, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm about to draft Judkins with a 1.6. You just confused me, Smitty. Let me tell you something. The best running back on the roster is Dylan Sampson. And if you think I'm crazy, I don't really care, number one. Number two, do I look like someone that cares? I don't care. I really don't care. Number one, I had Dylan Sampson ahead of Judkins in my pre-draft and landing spot rankings. So what, you think that changes? No, it doesn't. The teams come out and said, the GM, they've talked about it. That, and again, you can't trust the GM, but talent will rise, okay, if you want another secondary point. That's my second point. Talent will rise. Okay, that's point two. I just gave away point two. Let's go back to point one. Number one, in reverse order, Dylan Sampson's been already tagged as the untapped receiving potential. His receiving potential is untapped. Guess what? That's going to lead to a lot of opportunities. And if he does take a majority of those receiving down duties and develops as a receiver, and he takes even a little bit of Judkins' first and second down work, then he's getting more work. I think talent will shine through, and I believe that Dylan Sampson will be the surprise of this team. I don't know that I believe in much more. I don't know that I can count on Judy. Judy seemed to be tied to Winston. I liked Tillman. Tillman's a decent option. This is just a very tough team to believe in. It's a very tough team. I guess my prediction will be this. Dylan Sampson is the surprise on this team. And if the Browns allow him, and they might botch the whole thing, Shedeur Sanders becomes a comeback, not player of the year because he didn't fail yet, but some sort of marvel and riser. But I think the Browns have the capability of stepping all over it. So that's a hard one to tie to. I'm just going to say Dylan Sampson with a little splash of Shedeur being the best quarterback on the roster. And hopefully Shedeur and Dylan Sampson in terms of talent both rise. So Dylan Sampson's going to get the Smitty approved right here.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Attaboy, Dylan. Attaboy, Dylan. Super chats will be answered in order which to receive, so file them on in, and I'll try and answer them in between all this. Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, we don't even know who the quarterback is, do we? You know, is it the rookie Will? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Will this team run two running backs? The only thing I can tell you here is that this is confusing. Having Aaron Rodgers not under center yet, if he ends up being the quarterback, is par for the course for this team. Not being exactly, prepared and in sync, and being a team that's capable of winning multiple playoff games. Will they make the playoffs? Probably. But could this be the year that they don't? Could this be the one year that they don't make the playoffs? Here's the thing. You got to look at the division. Who's winning the division? The Bengals are winning the division. Are the Ravens still going to be good enough to beat out the Steelers for a wild card spot race? I think so. You know, just because the Ravens disappoint, Lamar disappoints, doesn't mean that they're last in the division. I'm saying the Bengals win the division. I'm saying the Ravens are disappointing. I'm saying Lamar Jackson is disappointing, especially from a production standpoint or missing games. But here's the thing. What teams have improved greatly? The Jets. The Bills are obviously on top. Jets are getting a wild card spot in my mind. The Patriots are going to be sneaky. You think they aren't, but they are. The Jaguars will be sneaky. The Texans will still be good. The Broncos are going to be potentially championship team material. They might go to the AFC Championship. That's how good the Broncos are going to be. The Chiefs, the Raiders are sneaky. The Chargers are going to be sneaky. Here's my prediction. The Steelers don't make the playoffs. The Steelers don't make the playoffs. And our boy Ron Navy is going to, I think, be mad about this, but also agree with me in some context, because how are they grabbing a wild card spot? If the Bengals grab the division winning spot, these wild card spots just got enhanced. There's too many teams here that are going to be better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not grabbing a wild card spot. They have nearly zero chance to grab a wild card spot with the improvement made with the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins probably improving some things, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos. We could have all three of the wild card spots come from this division here. This might be the strongest division in football now. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. Zero chance at this point in my mind, with the ambiguity and disaster and Mickey Mouse games going on at the quarterback spot, that the Steelers make the playoffs. The Steelers, congratulations, Tomlin. You might have just opened the door finally. And Ron Navy's, like I said, kind of mad, but he's liking this because Tomlin might get fired.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
That one was hot. That one was, I gotta admit, I have not prepared for any of this. This is all coming from this noggin, absolute impromptu style. And I gotta say, I had no idea that was coming. I didn't know I was pulling that one out of my bag of tricks, but it feels good. It feels real good. Think about it. Look at all these teams. This is the toughest division in football. Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and then you got again, disappointing to a fantasy degree, disappointing outcome-wise, but the Ravens are still tough. Bengals, you got two teams here. You got potentially three teams in this division, two teams in this. No one's expecting the Colts or Titans to do anything. But, I mean, look at this. How are you grabbing a wild card spot? If you don't win the division, you're screwed. And you got no quarterback right now. How are you prepared? You got Arthur Smith in a vanilla system. You've had a vanilla system for forever. You're not sneaking in this time, Tomlin. You're not doing it. And any blind Pittsburgh Steeler, fan can dial into my show after if they want. I'll probably have Ron Navy here to tear them down because he ain't going to put up with the Steelers being a division winner right now. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Buffalo. I got a couple predictions here. I know I'm going over 32 because I can't help myself. I'm a prediction monster. But I think I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Josh Allen scores a combined... Jeez, this is going to be tough. I'm going to say Josh Allen scores a combined 45 touchdowns in 2025. And I'm going to say that James Cook isn't the best running back on the team. I think James Cook either gets injured, he's holding out right now. Not a good look, James. Not a good look, pal. That is disapproved.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
It could be. I'm not even guaranteeing that there isn't some other wild card situation that emerges, through a potential J.K. Dobbins situation. Nick Chubb. I'm not trying to say Nick Chubb comes back and becomes I just think that this is going to be complicated in the running back room. And we've got this guy, Ray Davis, who's kind of a sleeping giant. This is just one of those situations where regression feels automatic. Having a 18, 19, 20 touchdown season overall for Ray Davis ain't going to happen. Regression's in the cards. I'm going to say DH Galaxy says, Smitty, you're the GOAT. I'll never forget you winning me 800. What was that on, DH? Was that on the Bengal prediction? Are you the one from the live chat group on Clubhouse? Where's my Clubhouse guy that took my prediction of the Bengals winning the division and going to the Super Bowl the year that they did when everybody laughed at me? Is that you, DH? I need you to call in if that's you because people need to hear that story. I'm gonna say Bills win the division. I'm making a lot of predictions in one here, I guess. Bills win the division. 45 total touchdowns for Josh Allen. 45 total for Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. These guys going neck and neck for the MVP, maybe. And I think we're talking about a running back situation that's going to be extremely disappointing in terms of James Cook. And we might see a Ray Davis season. We might see a rotation of things. But that's my prediction. Josh Allen, Bills, doing it live.
You've just been Smitty approved.
DH, let us know what you're talking about. I think this might be the Bengals guy. I'm not sure. Miami Dolphins. Woo! Woo! Look. Miami Mike just might not be a good coach. He might not be a good coach, and I don't know that this is going to end well for him. It's going to be tough getting into the playoffs because of what I've described with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, the fact that we're looking at wild card spots being very, very tough to grab. I think there might be a situation, though, looking at this thing where they lean on Achane, but they lean on him the correct and proper way. I'm going to say Achane is a top 5 running back in fantasy football 2025. Not the boldest thing in the world, but then again, you ask yourself, like, where's he going in a draft? You know, Achane's got an ADP. I think Achane's been slipping. Here's round number 1. Achane's going right around this territory right now in fantasy football, which is about like 15 to 18 overall. So to me, if he's a top 5 running back, he belongs right here. So this actually is a bold statement. It doesn't seem bold because he's a big name player, but he's a big name player getting doubted. And I just think that, let me put the player I'm talking about on screen again. What am I doing? I got Joe Burrow still on the screen. I need Achane doing it live. Achane, I'm going to say, has a season where I think he finally puts together what he did in patches his rookie year, what he did in patches his second year. I think Achane gets back to being more of a you could call him the Joker of Miami Mike's offense, but better yet, an inverse of Deebo Samuel, where he was playing that role as a rookie and didn't really play that role in his second year. I think they know this. They know they got to get him 14, 12 carries a game, 4 to 6 receptions a game, not 18 carries and 2 or 3 receptions. They need quality over quantity. They need efficiency from the man, not give him the 2 and 3 yard up the gut carries that no one's going to take anywhere. Even Achane's going to get stuffed. Even Gibbs is going to get stuffed. This is similar to Gibbs. Gibbs gets 5 to 6 yards per carry in his Deebo Samuel inverse role in Detroit. And when Monty goes down, he's amazing, but he's going to get more of those carries that even he can't do anything with. And those eventually add up. Now, they still pop Gibbs off to the side. They didn't in Miami. And I think they've learned their lesson. I think Miami does run Achane properly. Achane, top 5 running back. Miami, pretty tough to own the rest of the players unless it's Jonnu Smith who's going later. I like that. Waddle, I'm not extremely excited about. I know he could be something special if Hill ends up busting, but then again, it's like, what's going on? I think they pass better. I think things are a little bit better. You might see even Hill and Waddle do decent things versus last year was a lot of nothing, but I don't know that they're going to exactly earn their keep or be elite players. I think Waddle could have moments, but he's injury prone too. I think this is going to be the year of Achane, and Achane's going to eat a lot of spinach. I think my main prediction is that spinach goes missing everywhere in Miami. You can't get a can of spinach anywhere because this man will be eating it all. All of it.
Achane. Achane is the man. His haters call him small.
But he is 9 feet tall.
Spinach goes missing everywhere. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, on to the next guy. The next team. There's a lot going on here. I think, man, this is tough to narrow down to one prediction. I'm not doing a good job of that. I impromptu this whole situation, so clearly I'm struggling to lock down what I want to say, and I'm gonna say, and I like doing this. I like impromptu. I like going live. I'm not a script guy. I don't read. Dear followers, I was going through my Excel sheet last week, and you asked me who my wide receiver 13 is. My wide receiver 13, according to my Excel sheet, that's how people do it on other channels, not on this channel. This channel, we do it live, and we do it well. I don't know that I have Kyle Williams' graphic up and ready, so I got to use some text. Kyle Williams, I think he becomes the Lad McConkey of this draft class and during his rookie year. What I mean by that is I don't want to coin Kyle Williams the BT. I don't want to coin him the neighbors. I don't want to coin him anything of the sort. I want to associate him with a big-time, huge rookie wide receiver performance from last year that doesn't touch that level, but is something significant. I don't want to say he has the exact production that Lad has. I'm not trying to say that. So dial back your typing, Clifford. Keyboard Clifford's going.
Hi, I'm worried William, and my mommy just warmed me up a hot pocket, and I've never even talked to a hot chick.
So I think we're going to get this guy producing consistent numbers from the jump. We're drafting him very high walking into 2026. He becomes the steal wide receiver of the 3 to 5, 3 to 6 range of the wide receivers. Like, he's the guy people are like, holy crap, man. I drafted this guy at 2.1. I drafted this guy at 2. Like, kind of like the Bucky, but of the receivers. Bucky was drafted at 2.6. He was a free agent in a lot of ways. Kyle Williams is going to do similar things. We're on Patriots. Sorry. I'll try and keep everything on the screen accurate. I'm going to say the Patriots are a work in progress. If you remember back to when we predicted on this channel, we predicted it. We told you that the Detroit Lions will become the Detroit Lions that we see today, or that we saw last year. We don't know what they're going to be this year without Ben Johnson and Goff turning back into a pumpkin, but we'll see. I think that this is that team when I said they were a year away. Walking into Detroit's kind of breakout year where they missed the playoffs, though, it was like, oh my God, the alarm bell's been sounded, and we know they're coming for everybody the next year. I believe the Patriots are a Walmart version. I don't mean that in the way that it sounds. I still think it's going to be a very good team, but it's a tough, conference. It's a tough division with the Jets, I think, with Fields, but I think that they're a team that could absolutely make the playoffs maybe in the coming years. And they're not going to make the playoffs this year. It's just too tough. Things happen. Teams fall off. OCs leave. Like, things can dissolve. And they can one-up their game walking into next season with a good draft. They can good free agency. They can surround May with more players. So a tough, hard-fought season that falls short that gets them a higher draft pick is better anyway. But this is a team that's going to make a statement. Drake May, Kyle Williams, Henderson. It's going to be great. It's going to be a phenomenal year for the building Patriots, who had a very, very good draft, an A-plus draft. And at the end of the day, this man is going to become what Breece Hall was in Breece Hall's prime. This man's going to become a mix and marriage between Jahmyr Gibbs and Breece Hall, and a couple other players that you could combine together and say this is his style of play, like a Kamara meets Hall meets Gibbs. Not that he's as good as all three, but you take great pieces from each, you put it into one player. That is Henderson. Trey Henderson is remarkable. He's a playmaker. He's the best pass blocking running back in the draft class and will immediately become one of the best pass blocking running backs in the entire National Football League. So this is a great player that is going to hit the field early, stay on the field because of his pass blocking prowess, and this is going to be a big year for him. He's going to be a huge fantasy football sleeper. So you are Smitty approved, young man. Both you, Kyle Williams and Henderson, Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Man, I got to pick up the pace, don't I? Because we're like 30 minutes in and we're not even halfway through the AFC, so we got to hurry up on this one. I got to order a Costco pizza for the fam and everything and get that by like 2 hours from now at least. All right, so Jets are going to be a tough team. Look, there's so many things to nail down here. I think Breece Hall bounces back on a terror. Where's my Breece Hall graphic when I need it? Where are you at, Breece? Breece is going to have a real big bounce back season. I think Breece Hall, this is going to be maybe one of, if not the heaviest run teams in the league. This team might lead the league in rushing, especially when you factor in, quarterback rushing performance on top of it. Like team rushing with Fields is going to be unreal. Let me get Fields on the screen here. Oh, Fields, where are you, young man? This man has been doubted. This man has been torn down. You had Arthur Smith absolutely trying to ruin him. You had Tomlin try and ruin him. They sent him out there in his underpants in the first 6 weeks of the season. They said, okay, give me your hand. I'm going to handcuff it to your leg. You're going to be in your underwear, and you're not allowed to throw the ball. And he went out and he went 4-2. He went out and went 4-2 in his underpants.
Let him cook.
I came in here like I always do. And I said, this guy shouldn't be benched. This guy shouldn't be benched. Colby says, disagree on this one. You would, Colby. And everyone's going to disagree with you disagreeing. No one cares. I don't care, Colby. Fields turned DJ Moore into a top 5 to 7 wide receiver. Fields is a running monster. Fields can throw the damn ball, but he was asked not to. He was put in a box, and he was told just keep Russell Wilson's seat warm. That's all he was allowed to do. And Ben Roethlisberger went on record in an interview recently and said that he heard on good authority, and he knows because he's connected to the team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, that Arthur Smith and Tomlin and the entire staff, they pulled the reins back on Fields the entire time he was in the lineup, which is evident by the fact that he didn't have the full playbook. This guy was 4-2, and I came out and told all of you, especially you pro Russell Wilson believers last year, that he was the guy, that it was Tomlin's biggest mistake benching Fields when he went 4-2, and you're going to go ahead and what? Plug Russell Wilson in, and Russell Wilson wins his first game. Tomlin runs to the locker room like a little kid at the candy store, and he gets interviewed after, and some reporter naively says, how did you know? And he goes, it's why I get paid the big bucks. And then it all went downhill from there. It was as if Russell Wilson was cemented on the Madden cover. It all took a tumble. This guy didn't leave with the shattered confidence, though. He was 4-2. He did his job. He was a little disappointed. He felt abandoned. Probably has attachment issues. Felt like his parents got divorced on him. And then his girlfriend broke up with him all on the same day. That's probably how he feels. Chicago abandoning him. Then you got the Steelers not believing in him. Well, guess what? They believe in him in New York. And they're going to be probably, if not the biggest, heaviest rushing team in at least the AFC, but probably in the National Football League. And it's going to open up the rushing lanes for Hall. Hall, again, is not a guy you want running 18 to 22 times a game. You want him running like Henderson, like so many other running backs. You want him running the ball about 14, Achane as well, 14 times, 15 times, 12 times a game, and you want him catching 4 to 6 passes. You want him having quality over quantity. You want him having 100 total yards, not 100 rushing yards. You want him having 4 to 6 receptions, not 18 totes. And then the touchdowns will come. His ability to keep the defense pulled back. The New York Jets have been seeing a different defensive front every time they've hit the field until now. This will be the one time now that we don't see a single like crowded situation, eight-man front consistently in these Jets games going forward. This is going to be the first time we see a spread out defense consistently. And what does that do for Hall? A gap's just a little bit more wide open. B gap a little bit more wide open. The rushing lanes are just a little bit more spread out. The receiving lanes are just a little bit more spread out, which he's going to thrive in. He's going to be a little more open. There's going to be no one in the flat when he catches a dump-off pass by Fields and he takes it 45 yards downfield. His long of this year, he'll have 2 or 3 or 4 plays that are longer than any of his longest plays last year. He'll have 4. He'll trump last year's long play by probably double, if it's even possible. I don't know. Let's look up Breece Hall's long last year. Breece Hall, ESPN. Let's pull it up. Breece Hall in 2025 had a long of 42 yards. Okay, so he needs an 84-yard play. That's fine. No, I don't eat a crow sandwich on that one. Give me an 80-plus yard play. This guy's going to have 4 or 5 plays over last year's 42-yard long. 4 or 5. That's how open these lanes are going to be. Smash. New York Jets make the playoffs. Probably win a playoff game. Not going to make Super Bowl predictions or anything like that, but Fields is going to look phenomenal. He's going to turn Garrett Wilson back into a monster. Let's go.
You've just been Smitty approved.
All right, we got to speed this up. Okay, Houston Texans. I think they missed the playoffs.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
I don't think they're going to recover from last year. I think they added 2 receivers, which I like. Higgins, Noel, it's good. But they don't seem right. And Stroud made a comment that makes me feel like I'm not ready to believe in a bounce-back performance out of him. He said he's ready to take that leadership role this year. What do you mean? What have you been doing? What have you been doing? And what I saw last year was not a composed quarterback. I saw a quarterback that was crying on the field when his teammate suffered a knee injury. And you can come to his defense and say, oh, Smitty, he's his best friend. It's not like the guy was taken from us, okay? He was injured. And you're a professional quarterback. And you're on the field getting consoled. And you're weeping. And you can say this is callous of me, Smitty. I'm not a man that thinks crying is bad. Like something happens to a family member, your dog is sick, like all those things. You win a Super Bowl, Jordan hugging the trophy. You can cry all you want, but this is supposed to be a field general. And what I saw last year was a man fall apart. And then when I saw him on the sidelines when Tank Dell injured his knee, and I saw him crying and being consoled, I'm being called callous and Smitty, that's wrong. I didn't see a general. This is like when Caleb crawls in the stands and hugs his mama in a ball. You can't have that. You can't have that. This is a guy that needs to prove to me that he's a leader and that he can command the entire locker room. I feel like Bryce Young passed him, and we didn't think that was going to be the case coming out of his rookie season when things looked flipped. Now they look the other way. Not saying that they can't be a team that bounces back. I'm not saying that because they had a bad year last year. Mixon's older. They're counting on Mixon. I like their young running back. We'll see what happens, but I'm not expecting. And Nico's very injury prone. If Nico were to go down, they're toast. They're done. And Nico's been banged up a lot. We'll see. I don't like Stroud right now. I'm not drafting him in any fantasy leagues, and I think the Texans, because the Jaguars win the division. I said that the Bengals will win the division. I said that the Bills will win the division. The Jaguars win the division, and we'll get to them in a second. And because the wild card spots are so tough to come by, Texans won't make the playoffs.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Smitty, it's so callous of you to say it's his best friend.
His best friend, he didn't lose his best friend on the field. His best friend got injured. and they play a sport where people get injured all the time. When I tore my ACL and I mangled my knee almost as bad as Tank Dell, hurts all the time. You can laugh because it was in college during a flag football tournament. But my teammates didn't cry. I looked over when I wasn't even off the field yet, and they were in the huddle going, okay, 25, hatchback left. And it's like, I didn't judge them for it. They were composed and went out and won a championship. It was full contact blocking flag football league, by the way. All right, anyway, back to reality. The Colts, I'm going to say this is a disaster. I don't know what to even say here other than the entire staff could get fired. And it's a shame because I like Shane Steichen a lot, but I think you got to question a team's competency when they allow Shador to fall. They think Danny Dimes might be the answer at all. Any team that thinks Danny Dimes might be their answer pretty much have to write him off. And I think that at the end of the day, this is going to be one of the most disappointing fantasy football environments. There's one rule of thumb that I try and tell you guys over and over and over to keep in mind. And that rule of thumb is this. You always want a player on a good offense. You always want fantasy players in potent offenses. When push comes to shove, you want a team that lives in the red zone and at and around the goal line. And in the case of JT, his ADP isn't horrible. His ADP is falling. I want to say it's like around Achan's ADP. It used to be he was a first rounder, and you'd be ridiculed if you didn't have JT. Like, I remember I'd talk about JT, and people were like, why not JT at 12? What are you doing? JT's been falling to like this territory, but dare I say, I'm not drafting him over Bucky. I'm not drafting him over Kyron. I'm not drafting him over a plethora of players that are in this territory. And it's not that I don't like JT the player, and a JT person's going to go, JT's going to cook, Smitty. JT's going to cook, Smitty. You'll be sorry. JT's good, Smitty. It's not about JT. He's a good player. He's going to play in an offense that doesn't live near the goal line, the red zone, anywhere in between. So his touchdowns are going to have to come from breakaway runs. This is going to be a scramble session. I don't like this situation. They don't make the playoffs, of course.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Draft Achan, draft Bucky, draft Kyron. Those are just a handful of running backs. I'd even say get Breece Hall over JT in some ways. I think because you can draft Hall in round 3, he's going at 4.1. You understand what I'm saying. Go wide receiver instead of JT then. Grab Breece Hall at 4.1. Grab Breece Hall at 3.5, 3.6. Don't try and twist up what I just said because I will tear down your take. I'm saying take advantage of the Breece Hall value. Kyron goes in 3.1 to 3.5. Take advantage of that and go wide receiver or whatever. Go Brock Bowers in mother freaking round 2. Or just go Bucky and take Breece Hall as well. Go Bucky and take Kyron as well. Go wide receiver like Lamb in round 1. Go Bucky in round 2. Go Kyron in round 3. Go Lamb in round 1. Go Bucky or Achan in round 2. And go Kyron or Hall or whatever in round 3. You could go Josh Allen in round 3. That's how you win, not the other way around. Let's go to the Jaguars. Woosah. I don't know what to even say here. Because, good Lord, this might be the Tampa Bay Bucks all over again. And it's easy to see coming because, I mean, really, to be honest with you, I don't know how else to put it other than to say that, look, Baker Mayfield, who Liam Cohen turned around. What a great turnaround. What a comeback. And I was wrong about this. I didn't see this coming. I didn't believe it would happen even again. I didn't doubt him last year, but I didn't exactly believe in him at the same time, just to be completely honest and fair with my take. Baker did it. Liam Cohen did it. Liam Cohen took Bucky, turned him into a monster. Took Baker, made him a comeback player of the year candidate. Made him a monster, not only mentally, but production-wise. He was doing so many great things. Took an Evans and Godwin and McMillan situation and just made it flourish. And now Liam Cohen heads over to Jacksonville, and he's got his Bucky Irving potentially in this cat right here, who I think is going to have a potential Bucky Irving season in Tank Bigsby. You got him. You got ETN as his potential Rashad White. Watch this kid. You draft Tootin. I'm probably drafting Tootin and Bigsby and cuffing them together because I believe between Tootin and Bigsby, you have a Bucky. I don't know if it's Tootin or Bigsby because Tootin hasn't had a chance to develop yet. He just hasn't. So Tank Bigsby and Tootin, cuff them together, you have potentially the best shot at Bucky 2025. And while I dare to not, make this about BTJ, because it really should be about BTJ becoming just even better than he was last year in some respects. BTJ is going to the mother freaking moon. He's a top 4 to 7 wide receiver. And I say 7 because there's just so many good receivers, but like 4. I'm saying 4. I'm giving him respect. He was number 4 last year. So don't get me wrong on this take, because I don't want anybody to think I'm not saying this guy's going to still, bask in glory, bathe in fantasy production, take a BTJ bath. But I want to be abundantly clear that this prediction is also about this man Hunter, who, and what does T Law do? Like, we got to have a strong conversation soon, and we've said this for about 3 days straight now. We got to have a strong conversation about if the Law Dog's going to be back. If the Law Dog milk might return to the stores and return to the shelves. It might, because honestly, I don't see how Law Dog doesn't become Baker. If Liam can turn Baker around, and I think Law Dog is just as good as Baker in some respects, how does he not turn around T Law? And so he becomes such a good dynasty, dynasty, yeah, but super flex quarterback. I'm not saying I draft T Law as my one, but good God. So yeah, cuff Bigsby and Tootin. It's potentially the next Bucky. Hunter is probably, we might have to call this, I don't know, we might have to call this the AFC show and go do NFC tomorrow. I don't know. Hunter is going to be a top 10 fantasy football wide receiver. Bigsby and Tootin, potentially the next Bucky. BT will continue to do BT things, and that's not a bold prediction, that's just fact. But Hunter is going to surprise the world. And there was no channel, and I get people make fun of me and say I'm just tooting my own horn. No pun intended, tooting. But I'm not. We are the highest channel on Travis Hunter. Why? Because we threw him on the Mars man list before anybody even liked him.
He's on a shuttle
Why?
to Mars.
Because people,
Mars
when I say
man.
liked him, I mean from a fantasy football perspective, because people were scared Scotties and no one would even rank him. You'd have these people going, well, if you land somewhere good and they say he's going to be a wide receiver, I'll get some cojones and come back and then we'll rank him. We're not doing that over here. We're predicting bold stuff before it happens. We're ahead of the curve. It's my responsibility not to look fear in the face and crumble and go get a hot pocket. Okay? I'm here to tell you how it is, and I'm willing to take the risk that he doesn't play wide receiver, but I knew he would. And so now everybody, all these Mickey Mouse creators out there acting like they've been high on Hunter the whole offseason, and they haven't. We've been here the entire time. We put him on the supernova list before people even ranked him as a wide receiver.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
This took some balls.
They are the 8 supernovas.
This took some balls to put him on a list
They are the 8
so far before the NFL draft. There he is. Look at him.
The hateful 8 supernovas.
Hunter, top 10 wide receiver his rookie year. Hunter, 10 plus touchdowns his rookie year. Hunter looks like maybe a top 5, 6 wide receiver. Top 5, we'll call it 5 to 7. Top 5 to 7 dynasty wide receiver by the end of the year. We told you he's going to cook. He's Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
And of course the Jaguars win the division, as I said earlier. So there's part of the all those bold statements together. Hunter is going to win leagues in round 4. You remember when Hunter was going in mother freaking round 10? We told you here on Underdog, promo code Smitty. I'll drop the link in the live chat for anybody who wants to draft tonight and see where Hunter's going. You want to draft with me tonight? Hit this link right now. Do it live. Sign up. Code Smitty gets it done. Do that now so you're prepared. But what did we tell everybody? What did we tell everybody about this man, Travis Hunter? Take him in round 9 and 10 while it lasts. How many times did I tell you? Take this man in round 10 while it lasts. You will win leagues. You will win those early contests by drafting this man who will go in round 4 or 5 later. He might go higher. This guy could go in round 3. And if you think I'm wrong, just wait until he catches some phenomenal, camp touchdown pass. Or Liam Cohen walks out and says this guy could lead the league in yards and touchdowns as a rookie. And that's not taken away from BT. They could be 1 and 2. And I'm not saying that that's an accurate statement or a prediction that's necessarily going to happen. I'm just saying it takes Liam Cohen, the confidence in his receiving volume is what I'm getting at if you are understanding what's coming out of my mouth. If he walks up and says something at a podium, they could be the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver in the league. Even though it can't happen, that statement will skyrocket his value into round 3. He goes round 4. I told you he was one of the steals of fantasy football when he was a round 10 pick, and people were scared. Scotty's, oh my God, my meatloaf is getting cold, Mama. Meatloaf, please. I don't want to draft Travis Hunter any higher than round 10 because what if he's not a wide receiver, Mama?
You've just been Smitty.
Unbelievable, man. These scared Scotties, especially the people that were creating content around this, leaving him off. I'll come back and rank him later when he's actually coined a receiver. I don't know what to say here. I would say Io Manor might be a really good sleeper wide receiver 4 or 5 in fantasy. I don't know if that's a bold enough prediction, but it's something I can throw out there. And I think that, Cam has a pretty good rookie year. It looks promising. The offense looks okay, but I think there's nothing really here to say that other than next year, maybe something happens. But Io Manor could be pretty good, I guess. But overall,
You've just been Smitty disappointed.
What's up, Matt? Appreciate you. Okay, over here to the best division maybe in football. Definitely the best division in the AFC. We'll worry about the NFC. I think we might have. We could get through it. Maybe, do we do it tomorrow and open phone lines after this and talk AFC? Maybe we just do AFC today. Because damn, this is gonna take some time. I think we probably could get through it, but I'll let you guys decide if you want to open up phone lines and debate all of this, because there's a lot to digest here. Denver Broncos, I think what we're going to see happen here is we're going to see Nix really take a step forward. We're going to see Bo Nix become a staple in fantasy football. We'll see Bo Nix become kind of like, best way to describe him would be, I guess I would just say, like, this is kind of a Mahomes type player. And I coined him as that coming out of college because he's scrappy. He'll get caught up. He'll have his arm grabbed and he'll still figure out a way to throw the ball right into the end zone and throw it between 2 defenders. He's also very, very aggressive, verbally. He's a leader. He's what you want. This is the anti of Stroud. Stroud is cried on the sidelines and had to be held and consoled while he wept. And this is a guy that literally walks up to Sean Payton, is like telling Sean Payton what to do, and Sean Payton's yelling at him, and they walk away. And then later on, he's interviewed, and they're like, "What happened with Bo Nix?" He's like, "Bo Nix is fired up, and I love it." And you're like, "I love this. I love this guy. He's a leader. He's a straight up baller." So Denver, my prediction is this: I think KC wins the division, but Denver is literally like by far away the best wild card spot, option when we start sifting through the wild card leaders, this is a team that in any other division would win it. And so I'm going to say that about Nick's. He's going to have a great year. I think Evan Ingram's going to have a phenomenal year. I think the man of the hour, though, the guy that I want to make the bold prediction for, would be this man right here, Harvey. I think Harvey is a top 8 to 10 running back in 2025, maybe 7 to 10 running back. Harvey's going to be fed. Sean Payton wanted him. Probably would have drafted him in round 1 if he had to, but he knew he didn't need to, but he also held his breath because he wasn't sure that he wouldn't go in round 2 a little early. And so he literally is saying the opposite of what the draft capital dynasty nonsense, creators are saying, like, oh, Sean Payton, having him second round wasn't as good as first round. Hampton's first round value makes him better than Harvey's second round value. No, it doesn't, because this is the guy that Sean Payton was gushing over, quote unquote, the guy that he wanted over everybody else. So he waited because he could, and he did, and it worked out, but it doesn't mean he's less invested. I know he's 24 years old. You don't need to type that like I'm some moron and I don't know that, or I didn't look into that. I know, obviously. He's 24 years old, 2 years older than Hampton, but 24, 25, 26, 27, gets a new contract because he's a second rounder, doesn't have a 5th-year option. So he gets a new contract. He'll be safe for another 2 years. That's 5 to 6 years. I'm fine with that as a running back. Sometimes running back shelf lives are shorter than their actual lifespan, meaning that the lifespan of your engine, let's say in your car, should take you to 300,000 miles, but the car itself breaks down beforehand. Running backs oftentimes break down at 27, 26. It happens a lot, 27, 28, when really if they just started later, they would actually go to the 28, 29. And so I'm not worried about that. I think he could go an extra year or so, and it'll be fine. He'll have 5 great years, maybe a hold your breath season after that, but that's a long time. People play for too many years in advance, play for second place. We don't play for second place. If you're not first, you're last. This guy is taking you to the promised land. Top 7 to 10 running back 2025 as a rookie. Do it live.
You've just been Smitty approved.
No estimate progress in year 2. Tell me you own estimate without telling me you own estimate. Smitty, I have a question. What about Audric Estimate? Let's ask Kruger. Kruger's not even responding to that. Oh, bro. Thanks for making me laugh. We needed a little bit of... Excuse me. I have a question. Yes, you in the back. So what you're saying is my 8 shares of Audric Estimate, is that Ostrich? Ostrich Estimate is no good? What are we doing back there? All right. My boy. I love you, pal. Okay, KC Chiefs. Look, Mahomes is bulking up. Mahomes is on that Smitty workout plan right now, which is actually brought to you by Stoic Innovations. And if you want to get one of these core boards, use code Smitty to get 10% off. Just go over to Stoic Innovations and get yourself a core board now. I've been using this core board. I don't know if I look a little bit meaner and cleaner. Hit that link right there. Go get you one. And I've been using this because it helps you with your core, curls. It comes with this bar. You can do overhead presses. It's a whole gym in one. And I've been using this bad boy. And so is Mahomes, not necessarily using this workout machine, but he's been lifting and getting strong and mean. And he's coming for every doubter out there that says, oh, Mahomes is it. Let me stop you right there before you type it in the chat right now. And you say what you've been hearing on the 3 other podcasts that you listen to that crank out this same garbage. Mahomes hasn't been fantasy good for 2 years now, Smitty. Let me read it. Mahomes has not been good for 2 years. He is not the same player that he once was. And it's impossible for him to return to glory because I don't know why I didn't remember the rest of it. Yeah, cut his hair. Exactly. Cut his hair. He's bulking up. Has quietly the best wide receiver room in the entire National Football League. Denny, I'm going through a whole thing right now. I'm not answering phone calls, but I want you to know how much you mean to me. So I answered it to tell you that versus ignored you. Okay. Just wanted you to know I'm in the middle of a whole show here that requires precise action. Okay. So 5 seconds. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. No one else can call in. Only Denny. That's how important you are to me, Denny. 5 seconds. Go.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much, Smitty.
You're the man.
You're
the man, bro.
I appreciate
You're the man. Call back.
I'm going to learn Spanish.
All right. Call.
I'm going to learn Spanish.
All right. Call tonight. We need you in here. Or call after I'm done.
Oh, hey, Smitty. You know I love you.
All right. Thanks,
I
pal.
love you, Smitty. And that's how you live.
All right. So basically, KC has, in my opinion, one of, if not quietly, like top 5 wide receiver room in the National Football League. Rashee Rice, Worthy. And then you get the Rice comments. I know you're seeing it. You're repeating it like a parrot.
Smitty, what about Rashee Rice's ACL injury?
He didn't have an ACL injury, Steve. Like, do your research. He didn't have an ACL injury. He had an exterior LCL injury on the outside of his knee, not in the inside of his knee. A much different injury that he's 100% healed from, and he's moving around the field like a monster.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I must have been regurgitating the ACL thing. Okay, the next thing I have on my list, Smitty, is what about the suspension? Yeah. Oh, here's what I've been seeing. I'll repeat it. Let me see if I get it right. Let me perform this like I've seen it. Smitty, after his 6 to 8 game suspension, am I right? Am I right? After 6 games. Oh.
He's not getting suspended. There's a high likelihood at this juncture that this thing is not even addressed until next offseason. The days that go by, and I'm not saying that it won't kick into gear. There's a lot of things we're not privy to, but there's no updates. There's no court case updates. There's nothing. This is taking its sweet time, crawling at a pace that appears to be a pushback maneuver and a lot of other things going on. There's a strong chance we don't see any of this until the next offseason. Crazy. Come on, Steve. Get ACL out of your ears. Yeah, it's weird. It's so crazy how many people open their mouth to tear down a player like Rashee Rice and know nothing about it. They just literally heard something yesterday, and people say he tore his ACL. Didn't tear his ACL. He didn't tear his ACL. It's crazy. The ACL and LCL injury are completely different. You can snap, and you usually do. Snap your ACL in half. Then they got to cut your patellar tendon, make a little window, take that piece, drill into your joint here, drill into your joint here, place the ACL into each joint, shove it in, and then put screws in and damage the interior of the knee. Then there's swelling. Then the graft has to die because it's a patellar tendon. It's a tendon. It's a piece, a sliver of your tendon that they cut out of a window of your patellar tendon, and they drill it in. The tendon has to die, turn into an ACL, which is a ligament, so it needs to die, become hardened, and it needs to take, and this is what worries me about Diggs, as much as Diggs looks like I'll admit, Diggs looks like a monster on the field right now. I'll admit, his graft can't be 100% held. It can't be taken. It takes 6 months for that graft to fully heal. He's out there cutting like crazy. He's going to have a compensation injury, or he's going to tear that graft out. I'm so scared about that. Now, if he makes it to week 1, he'll be fine. But I'm really worried about Diggs having an injury just work. He's going too hard. But the ACL is a hard injury to come back from. So Mahomes is going to tear it up. Mahomes is going to, I think, get back to the big play potential that he's capable of. And he said that. I'm going to get back to the big play potential. I think Rashee Rice becomes a top 6 to 10 wide receiver this year. I think that Worthy could be the same. I think Mahomes could have 2 top 10 wide receivers this year. Rice being 1. Rice could be top 5. And we called Rice. Rice was on his way to a top 1 to 5 wide receiver season because we told you that he would be cooking, and he cooked last year until he got injured.
Let him cook.
Now, it's neither here nor there that this man took out this man in the game. Ignore that part. Worthy, Rashee Rice, and I love Jalen Royals, this sneaky wide receiver that is insurance, they say, to replace one of these guys if need be. Royals is one of the better third wide receivers immediately in the National Football League. Kelsey's still there. They drafted Brashard Smith, who's an amazing pass-catching running back in this draft class that was a converted wide receiver. He's got pass-catching galore all around him. If there's one thing that you got to think, if you're an anti-Mahomes person, because he burned you and you're crying about it,
Smitty, I'm never trusting him again. No more Mahomes. No more Mahomes. Just more Hot Pockets. More Hot Pockets, less Mahomes.
If that's you, let me just fill your head with something and let it marinate a little bit. Let it simmer on the back burner of your brain just a little bit, okay? Here's the one thing you should take away. The one thing you should take away is that this is a situation where when you close your eyes and you picture the Chiefs last year scraping by, low-scoring games, who was on the field? They had Worthy, no Rice. Kelsey was playing like dog crap. They were running the ball a lot. It was all about the run. It was slow. When you close your eyes now and you picture a lifting, bigger Mahomes, what's he lifting for? To hand the ball off? What's he getting stronger for? To hand the ball off? Who did they bring in? They brought in Brashard Smith. Who'd they bring in? They brought in Royals. Who's on the field now? Rice and Worthy. Does this sound like a running team? Because everything I described, even down to Brashard Smith, is a bunch of receiving. There's not a lot here to suggest they're not airing the ball out and getting back to the glory and goodness that was Patrick Mahomes as QB1 in fantasy 2018, QB3 in 2020, QB4 in 2021, QB1 in 2022. One of the most consistent top four fantasy quarterbacks in fantasy football. Yes, he had 2 seasons that were subpar to us, but they were still top 10, and he had no weapons. His weapons were injured. You think whatever you want. I'm going to say this team wins their division. I'm going to say this team barely is better than the Broncos, and we'll get to the Raiders in a second. The Chargers, very good division, and I think that the Chiefs win the division, and we'll go over like championship stuff and all that later. This is going to be just strictly the bold predictions. I'm going to say this team wins the division, and Mahomes has a top 4 to 5 fantasy football quarterback season. Top 1 to 4. I think he deserves that one opportunity. 1 to 4 fantasy quarterback season, and Mahomes wins leagues in 2025. Wins leagues single-handedly. Why? Because he's a 6th round pick. He's a 7th round pick. Depends where you draft. There's no business of Mahomes with this arsenal of weaponry going in round 6 or 7. It's ridiculous. It's filthy. It's embarrassing. And I'm here to clean up. I'm here to clean up. I'm here to cook. You're here to cook. Mahomes is taking this team to the promised land in crazy productive fashion, not in skating along, slow rolling into the playoffs. This guy's going to look electric. And he shaved his head. He's got a whole new look. He looks muscular. He got rid of the dad bod, and he's coming for everybody. Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to show everyone that's doubting them that they're foolish for overlooking this squad full of receiving talent. One of the best groups in the league.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just do the AFC today, and then we'll come back and do the NFC tomorrow. Raiders are going to be a tough team. This is a team that I think has a strong shot at one of the wild card spots. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if all of the wild card spots come from this division. I mean, really, it's crazy when you look at it. You've got the Chiefs winning, the Broncos maybe being the 2nd or 3rd best team in the entire conference, and they're going to grab the wild card spot. You've got probably, I would say, the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Ravens competing for the wild card spots. So I don't think the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos will all 3 grab it, but it's possible. Like, I just want to make that point abundantly clear. This is why I think the Steelers don't make the playoffs this year, because the Bengals run away with the division. The Steelers have no shot at being better than all of these teams, or at least being the 3rd best team even. The Raiders are going to be sneaky. Pete Carroll loves to run the damn football. Ashton Genty is going to be glorious. There's a shot that Ashton Genty, if he barely finishes, let's say at the end of the year, let's say he hits a rookie wall a little bit because he's going to get volume galore. He's definitely going to have a moment where he hits a little bit of a rookie wall. That doesn't mean he gets injured or anything. It just means that he might have like 2 or 3 games where it's like 80 yards. And we're like, whoa, 8 points. What happened? It's going to happen. It might be every player has a rookie wall, but if you know my content well, you know that I have this one phrase that I say every single year, multiple times per year. If this is week 1, this is week 17, this is the middle of the season, this is a blurry screen. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Focus, please. If this is the graph, right? Or do that. This is the graph. If we'll call this week. Let's call this week 8. This is week 8. Rookies, especially receivers, tend to go like this, right? They're doing this when they hit a rookie wall, which is usually around like week 11, 10, somewhere in that territory. There's a rookie wall here, and that rookie wall is either very thin. It sometimes can be like 1 week thin. It can sometimes be multiple weeks thin or wide. Jamar Chase hit a very thick rookie wall, if you remember correctly. And I said trade for him. As soon as Jamar Chase hit this rookie wall and he was down here just not performing, I said buy him. I said it would win leagues. This is probably my biggest like mid to late season prediction during his rookie year that I hung my hat on. And I said, trust me, Jamar Chase will bounce back. And I know people are going to say, oh, he's always been good. No, during this season, people thought that it was a fluke. There was a lot of people that said he'd fallen back down to earth because he had too many games in a row. It was like a 3 or 4 or 5 game, I forget how many in a row, lull where he didn't do anything. And I said, bye. And I remember I even said bye like multiple weeks in a row. And I started to get a little worried because it had been a couple weeks longer than I thought. And I'm like, bye. And then he broke through and shattered the ceiling. The one thing, remember, that I say about rookies is that the good ones always explode through the rookie wall, especially wide receivers. They always explode through the rookie wall. Gregory trying to embarrass himself here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Gregory with probably the worst comment I've ever seen in my last 2 years, probably. Gregory says, Genty, Trent Richardson 2.0. Congratulations on having probably the worst comment of the year.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
That's embarrassing, pal. That's embarrassing, bro. You got that one all crooked, bro, just like the hat that you have on your head. Okay, so here we go. The good ones break through. So that means that when, let's say, a Travis Hunter or anybody hits a rookie wall, they're going to explode through. Same thing with running backs, but this is especially the case with wide receivers. Always keep this in mind. If we have Genty hitting a rookie wall, I don't think it'll be big. His tenacity and ability to carry the workload, and he proved that in college. He was carrying more than an NFL workload in college. He probably has the most capability of not having a rookie wall, period. Because he actually had more than a college season. Most people don't. He got 2,600 rushing yards. 29 touchdowns and 2,600 rushing yards is what Genty threw down last year. So you could say that he probably doesn't even hit a rookie wall. How do you have 2,600 yards and 29 TDs and 374 attempts? And that doesn't concern me, the carries, because he's still young. You don't want that volume at the NFL level consistently, or you can't break. I think if he hits the rookie wall, he goes through it. I'm going to say this about Genty. Maybe at the end of the day, he doesn't finish as running back 1. But I think there's a big chunk of the year where he's running back 1. He's hovering as running back 1. I think there's a big chunk of the year that people are saying this is the number 1 overall pick next year. I can't believe I didn't take him in the top 5. Can't believe I let someone take him at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's climbing right now into the 7 territory overall, and people are going to start to panic a little bit. It's kind of like, think of it like a stock that you're told to get into, right? Like, let's say the stock is, we'll call this stock the Fantasy Football Show. Okay, this is the stock that you're trying to invest in. Your buddy says, hey, and I'm not a stock advisor or giving any sort of stock advice, and this is a fake stock, the Fantasy Football Show. Actually, it's not. The stock is up.
Stock on the rise.
But anyway, it's not a publicly traded stock. So let's say the Fantasy Football Show stock is, we'll call this $500 would be where we want it to be. This is 0. Let's say it's $100, okay? And somebody tells you, the Fantasy Football Show stock is going to go up. You should buy it. It's at $100 right now. And then all of a sudden it goes, oh, okay, it goes up to $300. And now what is your natural instinct? You didn't buy any. You were told to buy it at 100, you didn't. What's your natural inclination? Does anybody know what they're going to usually think? They're usually going to say something along the lines of this. Yeah, I didn't get in and, you know, I missed it. I missed out. Okay? I missed out. So I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to pout like a little baby. This is what Greg's going to do when he says Genty, then crash. Can I just ask you a question, Greg? Can you call in? Do you have the courage to call into the show and tell me, are you going to backtrack now? I bet you're going to backtrack. I bet you're going to backtrack and say that you like Genty. I dare you to call into the show. Actually, the phone line's open for you and you alone if you want to call in. This is weird that you're getting into it like this. I missed out. This is what people say. Remember when Godwin, when his offensive coordinator, I believe, came out and said Godwin's going to catch 100 balls when he was a 6th or 7th rounder. He climbed to round 4. And then you know what people said? I could have got him at 6 or 7. I'm not gonna get him now. I missed it. I missed out. He ended up being a top 12 overall player that year. So don't think just because you've seen Genty climb from 12, 13, 14 up to this $300 mark, which we're going to say is equivalent to being 7 or 8 overall in a draft. Don't think you missed out and avoid him at 7 to 8. Genty could be the number 1 overall running back in 2025. He could be there, and I think he floats there and has cups of coffee with that spot. If he doesn't finish number 1, he's literally considered one. Do it live. It's going to be an amazing year. Genty to the mother freaking moon. Bowers to the moon. Bowers finally grabs like that 7, 8, 9 touchdowns potentially, and the Raiders are going to be in the mix for a wild card spot. It won't be easy, but they will be in the mix.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Last team, and then we'll do the other one tomorrow. I'll refix the graphic and we'll call it AFC, part 1, whatever. Hold on, let me check the phone line. Oh, Gregory didn't call. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Gregory, are you calling? I'm confused.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I said I'd answer these super chats as they came in. I apologize if I haven't yet. Max says, how much to trade Kyron and Dynasty got sniped? How much to trade for... Oh, sorry. Not Kyron. You say K. Will, I think you're talking about Kyron Williams, but you're talking about Williams, the receiver for the New England Patriots. We love Kyle Williams. I don't know, bro. It's going to be hard. The reason I'm going to tell you, this is not an easy task, Maximum, is that when you draft somebody... you guys know this to be true, right? The psychology behind this. You draft somebody, you're mentally investing in them. And how often do you go to a player or go to an owner and say, hey, give me the guy you just drafted? And they're just like, okay. They literally walk out with they've already made a statue of the guy, in their front yard. There's just probably no way you're going to get this done. The only thing you can do is go at another player and make him say no a couple times and then come back around and then say, well, what other players do you have? And let the words come out of his mouth. Well, I have Kyle Williams, and say, well, he's kind of in a crappy situation, and I don't even know if he's going to look at. They drafted Polk last year. They didn't do anything with him. And then you tear him down a little bit. And then you could try and go at him and say, what if I gave you all my second rounders this year, next year? I need a receiver. I'll take anybody. I'll take Kyle Williams. But maybe you got another player. I don't really know what to tell you. But you can't be giving up first rounders is all I'm going to say. You got to play it smart. Don't overreact and go assuming that, look at Keon Coleman and how that didn't work out to the degree that we wanted it to. So, you can't get overzealous. Ashton, Bucky, JJ, MHJ, Superflex Startup is my team so far. Bella, check yourself. Thank you for the super chats. An amazing team. Jonathan says, how do we feel about Jaden Reed in Dynasty? Very disappointed in the way they use him, and they said that they're not going to run him really at all this year, or they're dialing it back a lot. So how good can he be if you take that part away from him and you don't know how to throw to him, and Jordan Love doesn't appear to know how to throw the football to him? I like him as a wide receiver 4 or 5, but he used to have potential wide receiver 2 value, and Jordan Love screwed it up. I don't believe in Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love took a huge step backwards. I'm very concerned about Jordan Love. I know we got Golden, but Golden's not the right receiver in my opinion. I think Golden's an okay receiver. I think Golden could be a good receiver, but I think they drafted the wrong receiver. Look, if you think that that's just because the Green Bay Packers haven't invested in a wide receiver since Golden has been, alive. I mean, really, that's the truth. I think that's accurate. Then you're kind of mistaken for trusting a team that doesn't know how to draft a wide receiver. This is their first time. And they drafted a guy who's never had 1,000 yards. Hey, Smitty, which of the following running backs do you think has the best chance of providing some points? ETN, Tank, Grendo, Sampson, Ray Davis, Blue. I'm going to say Tank Bigsby, my boy. It's tough to say, though. These are all players that are not guaranteed anything. Blue's crafty. Garendo could be a monster, but it takes an injury. Sampson, I think, is going to have some good value, but Tank Bigsby is probably the guy I bank on. But Ball, it's a tough call because those are all kind of, you're predicting injury and such. I have the 1.1 in Dynasty, Superflex, Genty, or Hunter. I love both of them, bro. It's tough to say. I'm not trying to say that I would, consider Hunter over Genty because I wouldn't, but I understand why you might based on team need and all that. But I think I'd trade down to the 1.2 to get some value if you're going to do that. But Genty's the potential number 1 overall player. Now, it's an IDP currently listed as wide receiver and scoring points. You got to figure that out. If he can score points on offense but start as a DB for you, a cornerback, then he could break fantasy IDP. So you got to check into that. If that becomes a thing that is advantageous, then you got to take advantage of the Hunter value. So he'd be the number 1 overall pick if he's scoring. But my guess is that the league management is going to squash this, and it's going to be a debacle. People are going to be so upset. Steelers made sure to bench Justin Fields before QB needy Jets and Giants got a look at him. Didn't count on the Jets hiring a Justin Fields believing GM and head coach. Karma, says 6 Trey. Yeah, bro, I love it. He's a freaking phenom. BBQ dropping 50 gifted memberships in the live chat like a monster. Everybody thank BBQ for the 50 gifted memberships. BBQ to the mother freaking moon. BBQ stock is up.
On the rise.
His stock is up. BBQ, thank you, my boy. You're a monster. Okay, final team. And I still have not got a call from what's his face. Literally, what's his name? What's his name again? The guy that's putting all this bad stuff out there on, I already forgot his name. Was it Jeremy? I think he just disappeared even. It's Gregory. Gregory, are you calling in or not? Are you afraid to have a meaningful discussion about your Ashton Genty doubt? I think you are. We're looking here at the Chargers, ladies and gentlemen. The Chargers are a team that I believe the Chargers are going to be hard-pressed to make the playoffs because of how tough the wild card race will be for a playoff spot. It's not that they won't have one of those teams where you're like, wow, look at all these great teams, and one of them, 2 of them might not make the playoffs. This is that situation. So don't take this as a negative anti-Charger situation. My concern here is this. You have a Herbert quarterback monster that is being capped and not fully believed in. Thank you again, BBQ. Please thank BBQ if you get a gifted membership from him. Van got one, Soshi got one, Chris, Tank, Tillman, Bone got one, Jared got one, Richard got one, Lazy, you got one, Nev, you got one. Thank your boy BBQ. Drop a BBQ emoji. You just been gifted the ability to have emojis now. Drop the BBQ emoji to help him out. Or not help him out, to pat him on the back. Chargers, to me, are a team that there's hard to predict a lot of things here. I think Herbert could be up and down because they don't unlock him. Harbaugh doesn't unlock him fully. If Herbert went to the Vikings, which is a rumor we've heard about and wanted to push into the ether and make happen, Herbert would be a top 5 QB, maybe top 6 QB at least, if he went to Minnesota to play with Justin Jefferson. Might even be top 3 to 5. But in this situation, even the good lad McConkey, he's a great player. This is still there's a governor or restrictor on his ability to throw the ball. And they even threw the ball more than anybody expected, but they're going to get back to running the ball more than anybody expects through Hampton. And so it's hard to believe that Ladd is worth his second round ADP. If he was a third rounder, I'd be all in. I think Ladd you could draft him at his ceiling value of second round if you want, and you could earn it. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he'll bust from that territory, but that is his ceiling value. You're drafting Ladd at 14 overall. You better have Ladd do what you expect, or you're really going to be missing some points. I think that the prediction is going to come down to the rushing attack. I think that it might take a little time. And again, for those that think I don't like Hampton as much as them just because I like Harvey and Hendy more for 2025 for Dynasty, it's a freaking tie right now. It's hard to even, I could argue, just like Gibbs and Bijan, I'll argue one and then I go to the other and I argue that person. It's like you jump back and forth. Harvey, Hampton, and Hendy are all really tied for Dynasty. They're so close. I love them all. I want all three. But there is a world where he starts off slow. Najee will be in the way. Henderson and Stevenson, think about it. Before Henderson landed on roster, where was Stevenson getting drafted? Round 10, round 9, round 11? Nobody believed in him. So Henderson has a very clear path, especially given he's the best pass blocking back in the National Football League potentially right away. Like, he's that good. He's so good at pass blocking. And then you got, he's at least the best rookie. Then you got to open door for Genty. You got to open door for Harvey. There's no one in Harvey's way. And Judkins has a better running back than him and Dylan Sampson, in my opinion. So that's cloudy. You've got Najee in front of Hampton. Close your eyes and picture where Najee's ADP was before Hampton arrived, round 4, round 5. So if Stevenson's round 10 before Hendy landed on roster, and New England wasn't even thought to be a team to draft a big running back. They were kicked around with the idea, but they're not cemented in. Whereas the Chargers were very much thought to draft a running back, and Najee was going around 4 or 5. So who's the better running back? Najee over Stevenson. So stop acting like Najee isn't a threat. But let me tell you this, my bold prediction, you might be surprised because it sounds like I'm hating on Hampton. I'm not. I'm just being realistic. Best ball machine. Top 5 to 6, top 5 to 7, top 4 to 7 running back numbers from the point he gets totally unlocked, which could be week 5, week 4, week 6. He will be a top 5 to 6, top 4 to 7 running back if you extrapolate his like week 7 on numbers, his last 10, 11 games on. We'll be here a year from today saying, if you extrapolate his last 10 games, he would have been running back 4. That's the story we're going to tell about Hampton and love him in 2026, and we love him now. And that's why I'm going to say this. My bold prediction is that Hampton is a league winner in best ball once you get through the first month or so, or month and 2 games, whatever. I think he's a phenomenal best ball pick. Love him in redraft too. If you prepare, draft some guys to help you in weeks 1, 2, and 3, and you're probably going to start him still. But you can start him week 1 and then debate it in week 2 because you saw the week 1 output. They've divided things up a little bit. They're slow rolling him out more than you thought. This is a guy that wins best ball leagues. He's a phenomenal pick. And at some point, he will be playing such high octane football that he's going to be a first round pick in 2026. So top 12 to 14 pick in 2026 will be Hampton. He's gonna have that big of a year. That's my bold prediction. But as far as the team hard pressed to make the playoffs, could slip in for sure, but it's gonna be a real tough wild card battle. That is all of the predictions for today. We went through half the league. We went through the AFC. Now I'm gonna open phone lines for just a few minutes. And then we're going to come back later tonight. So we're not going to be here forever, but we'll open the phone lines now. So dial into the show. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Where is this guy? What's his face? He's not calling in. I don't understand why you can say the things you say about Genty, but you won't call in and debate them. The anti-Genty guy. Where is he going to call in? What was you? Think he's not? I don't think he's prepared. I don't think he has any information. Nothing. No ability to debate this. You can't just come and say Genty's going to bust. You have nothing. You have no single bit of proof whatsoever. You don't even have a leg to stand on, and you won't even call in. You'd be scared to death to call in to debate me on this. I know you would. I know you probably shart your pants so much that your hat would spin back around and be straightened on your head. Travis, you're live.
What's up? Yeah, I get some people don't like to, might be shy about calling in or something, but you feel strong about something, just call and debate it. Like, worst case is at the end of the year, you're wrong. Like, people need to be less afraid of.
And nobody should feel like they can't say
take.
something bold. You know, like I want that to be a safe space for that kind of, like, you can say something in the chat, but like, he's a notorious like hater on certain players that we're talking about up a show, guys. Like, he's trying to come in and ruffle feathers. You don't ruffle my feathers. My feathers are just fine. I think your feathers are hidden away, retracted. And it's like, I'm just letting you know I'm here. You know, you think that Genty's a bust, call in. I'm waiting for you. You won't, though, because you don't have a single leg to stand on. So, you know, if you're going to come in and be like negative toward all the show players, like, he's going to be bad, then we bring up this guy, he's going to be bad, then call in and tell us why. You can't. You can't and you won't.
Well, that's the thing, too, is if you have a reason why, even if you push back on it or I push back on it, just give the reason. And at the end of the day, if something goes down and he's right, everyone's going to remember it. If not, how many people do you think are even going to remember someone calling in and arguing something? You know, like, I just think that's the biggest thing. People nowadays are so afraid to put a takedown and stand on it. And it's like, go for it. Who cares?
I gotta redo this entire graphic because I have all these AFC teams on it, and I only got through. I didn't think I was going to take that long to get through all these, but this is an ordeal, especially when you're impromptuing it, you know. So I'll have to come in and do I got to redo the graphic right now, and we'll do a show tomorrow on the NFC. But what did you? Any predictions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think you're right that there's a possibility the wild card could come both out of the West. Who are your favorite teams? Obviously, the Jets you mentioned could make the playoffs, but for wild card spots, I guess the Ravens. If you think the Bengals are going to the championship, right?
Yeah,
they would be another favorite to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Bengals division winner, Buffalo division winner. I said Jaguars division winner, and Chiefs division winner. So then you have probably, I would say, let me grab this and put it on the screen to make it easier. Hold on one second. Let me just grab this and grab that. Put it over here. All right. So Chiefs division winner. So then it comes down to the first wild cards team is going to be Denver. Yep. I think that they will win any division that they aside from their own. I think that the next,
and I think
what
I think they'll push KC.
Yeah, it'll be close.
I think that's going to be close.
Then it comes down to, like, I mean, I still think Baltimore is going to be probably in the mix. I just because I think Lamar disappoints. That could be for 100 different ways in 100 different manners. So I think Baltimore's still the lead candidate to grab with Denver. And so you got one more spot. You got one more spot. You got New England, you got New York, the New York Jets. You have Miami, who I don't think Miami's going to get it, but I'm just throwing out teams. You got Houston, who I think won't be grabbing the spot. You got LV. You got the Chargers, LAC. It's probably for me. It's probably going to be either the Jets or the Raiders for me.
Really? I think it'd be the Chargers for me, probably.
Raiders. Well, or Chargers. I'm fine with that. Jets, Raiders, or LAC. Put LV. So LV. So this is wild card spot 1, wild card spot 2, wild card spot 3. And so, like, LV's, I already used them over here, them over here. So you've got Houston, Miami, New England all fighting for it. So Pittsburgh. I don't think you could
Yeah,
put Pittsburgh over here, but I think that that's why they're gonna. It's just.
I'd be very surprised if New England makes it. I think New England's more like a 7, 8, 9 win team, and that's a good step forward.
Yeah, like I said, they're
they make a bigger jump than that.
They're the Detroit Lions of the year that they didn't do it, but then. So I think the surprise of the entire AFC, will be the Denver Broncos and maybe the Raiders. I think the Chargers are good. I definitely agree they're in the mix here for this wild card spot. But the Raiders, Jets, and Broncos would be my surprises and teams that I'm super excited about. But yeah, division winners across the top there. Rock out, you're live. What's up, buddy? Rock out.
I could see the AFC West getting 3, and I could also see the Broncos perhaps taking out the Chiefs in their division as the division winner, and the Chiefs as like the number 5.
Okay. I could see 100 different things happening for sure. What else?
But I agree with you, Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville is going to be exciting. I think. I just the way Liam Cohen can cook up an offense, man. It's just crazy. It's gonna be enjoyable watching it.
Yeah, the defense is pretty good too. They're not bad at all in defense.
Yeah. So this will be AFC predictions. We'll do the NFC tomorrow, or maybe tonight, but probably tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe tonight. Could be interesting to do it tonight.
Yeah, we'll see.
What else did you like, Rockout, or any other surprises?
All
right. Well, you think about that. Cook something up. Travis, anything else? I'm probably not going to stay too much longer. Let me answer this one call here. Hold on one second. Let me get this phone line person on here. You are live, young man. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Colby. I'm calling from Tennessee.
What's up, Colby?
Smitty, I wanted to get your thoughts on. I play in an IDP league. It's a redraft, 10 team. How high is too high for Hunter? I mean,
we talk about
pick?
this every day, and I can't answer that question. Only you can with your scoring. Like you got to know your scoring. There's no way for me to know if this is something that you should be, looking into as the number 1 overall player in all of Dynasty, or in all of IDP. He could literally be the number 1 IDP guy if your league allows it. My guess is that the platforms are going to not allow this, and I think that we haven't really had a chance to really test out some of this stuff. I know that there's been some people that say, hey, in my league you can't get kick return points as a defensive player, and some people say that they can. So it really just comes down to, you got to check with your league, bro. If he's getting points and you could start him as a cornerback and he's getting 10 to 12 touchdowns, he could win you fantasy, bro. So I don't know, but if that were the case, then sky's the limit. But bro, he's still a top 4 round guy in a dynasty startup or a redraft.
Yeah, just that. Yeah, that receiver. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
What else you got?
Yeah, I had Zach Bond last year in my defensive spot, and I mean, he was a monster because we get a point per tackle. It's a high-scoring league, so we got a point per tackle, sacks, everything. So he was giving me basically 12 to 15 points a week. So I mean, super solid. Your defensive player, it obviously matters.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. I mean, I don't know. It would be huge.
Yeah, he's gonna be a monster, bro. But he's gonna be so amazing. Don't be surprised if he's a lot less defense than you think initially, which is what I think that the league platforms are going to do. Look, the league platforms want to have the least resistance as possible They don't want to be flooded with emails. They hate complex situations, and they cater to the crybabies. And the crybabies are going to be 11 out of 12 in every single league, because guess who's going to have Travis Hunter? One guy out of 12. So there will be 11 crybabies, and they fold. ESPN folded with the Taysom Hill situation when they took him out of people's lineups when he was a tight end, and that's going to continue to be the situation here. They're going to say there's going to be 11 people that are upset. I don't want to deal with the crying and complaining, so I'm going to go ahead and make a cowardice act and make Travis Hunter not somebody. Right now, he's named a receiver. Liam Cohen has called him a receiver, so therefore, that's all he can be. That's the way that they're going to approach this, bro. It's going to be embarrassing. I'm going to be very upset, but I'm also not going to care, because guess what? We're going to be cleaning up, cleaning up at the wide receiver position with Travis Hunter. He literally could be a 3rd round pick in redraft if just one thing breaks on him. If one thing happens, like he catches a freaking huge pass in practice. Like what, or even more powerful is like Cohen saying something, intriguing, like, hey, really think he's going to potentially, lead the league. Him and BT together are going to be the top 5 in the league in, yards and touchdowns, or like just one comment, not saying it's true, but one comment is going to put this guy on the map in the 3rd round. Right now he's going in the 4, and deservedly so. He should be a 4th rounder, and we cleaned up. We told everyone, we told you, we said to everybody, go draft him in the 10th round on Underdog, which you can draft with me tonight. Links pinned in the live chat. Go click that link in the live chat, link in the description. Tonight we're drafting, but we cleaned up getting Hunter in round 9 and 10 while people were scared Scotties and fearful Freddies because they were so petrified. What if I draft him and he doesn't play wide receiver? What if I'm playing, scared ball? Ridiculous. We cleaned up.
Yep.
We cleaned up.
Where you got them at, Smitty, Hunter and BTJ as duos in the league? I mean, I think they could easily be number 2 right behind Chase and Higgins, or they could even be better after this year, depending on how T-Law does. I mean, I think that's the biggest issue is quarterback situation. How T-Law, what's he going to do? Is he going to step up? Is he going to be what he should be, or what's going to happen? What's your thoughts?
I mean, we talked about that already today. We talk about this every day. It's T-Law should probably be ranked a lot higher, and we'll have that conversation. But I mean, this is easily tied with, I think, the best receiving crew in the entire National Football League. I mean, who else is better? Jamar Chase and Higgins? Okay, I think that could be maybe better, sure. But is it right there with it? So second, it's probably. I like.
Yeah, it's essentially A.J. Brown, Devontae, and then Puka and Adams. I mean,
those are up there.
Adams still got a little juice, but I just don't think
those are up there. But I don't think they're better than Hunter and BTJ. I think Jamar Chase and Higgins could be, but I think agree. You could also argue that Hunter's way better than Higgins, and Chase and BTJ are not as far off as people think. But yeah, you take Jamar Chase. But what about, is the difference between BTJ and Jamar Chase smaller gap and then the difference between Hunter and Higgins? I think Higgins is good, but Higgins is no Hunter. Mark my words.
Yeah, the biggest difference is Joe Burrow. That's the
all right, got to go, bro. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Later.
Yep.
Final thoughts, rock out, and then I'll go over to Gumpy.
BBQ, $50 holla.
$50 holla. Hold on, rock out 1 second.
$50. Give me $50 holla. I get by the brother Smitty. Give me $50.
Thank you, BBQ, dropping a $50 holler. No other show gives you the level of access and content and live forum to debate it. Appreciate you always dropping knowledge and owning it. Best show and community. Thank you, BBQ, for dropping the $50 holler on top of the gifted memberships, my boy. Like this guy's an absolute legend on this channel. Kobo has been doing a lot of fire, super chat dropping as well. Kobo says, rebuild team. Draft Genty, Hunter, Egbuka. Still have 2.1. Nice player. Will be there too. Thanks for all the Rockstar content, my dude. Thank you. Drafted Genty, Hunter, Egbuka. That's fantastic, bro. The only thing I missing there is Hendy or Harvey that just would have got my juices flowing, pal. It would have got Kruger excited. Kruger would have been, interrupting me, saying, "This guy got Harvey. I call him a liar. I call him a liar. There's no way he got this. He's playing in a 2-man league." Cobo, that's unbelievable.
Maybe Scattaboo at the 2.0.
Yeah, Scat's my favorite top of round 2 guy that somehow goes there. I don't know how he goes there. Jason says, confirmed with the commissioner. He will be getting points for both. Make sure, bro. You've got to make sure. Can you test it out? Can you look at it? You got to look at the projections too. Do this right now, and I'm going to check back with you, Jason. Go to your scoring, or go to the leaderboard, the stats. Go to players' stats, projections 2025, and sort by wide receivers. Where's Hunter ranking? And that should give you a good
screenshot the settings.
Yeah, screenshot the settings as well. The site list wide receiver only. That may change. No, then you're not. Then it's your commissioner didn't confirm it, bro. You just said confirm with the commissioner. He will get points for both. The site lists him as a wide receiver only. Then no, he can't. The commissioner he won't get the points. You got to confirm this is not all done. You got to look into this way more than that. I'm telling you, bro. You're going to get screwed out of that. I still love him, but no way, Jose. All right, rock out. Final thoughts. And I'll be back tonight.
Yeah, 3 of the rookie running backs from the AFC will finish in the top 15.
3 what?
3 AFC rookie running backs will finish in the top 15 running backs.
I think we might have 4. We might have 4 to 5 top 15 running backs. It's crazy. These rookies in the rookie class, they're great. All right, rock out. Appreciate you, bro. Call in tonight.
All right.
Yep. Someone is at the front door.
Oh shoot. Hang tight. Ziggy off. Ziggy off. You always missed the bolt on the front door, and Smitty couldn't get in. Open up, Gump. Go ahead, Gump. You're live.
Yeah, I like your
what?
I like your power 4 draft strategy where you get those 4 main guys and you draft them in every league. You keep power like a Turduncan. Power 4
brute force drafting. Brute force drafting.
Yeah, brute force. I call it Turduncan.
I don't know what Turduncan is.
Players. But yeah, that's like a John Madden term. But anyway, I got my 4 players. Can I tell you
real quickly, and I gotta go.
If I left the draft without Malik, I'd be bummed. Then if I left the draft without Marv, I would be bummed. Then if I left the draft
Motion
without
detected at the front
Debo,
door.
I would be bummed. Then from there, I would just grab a couple of running backs and then go get my sneaky tight end.
So the good news is Debo's round 6, Marv's round 3, and Neighbors is round 1. So you have a 2nd round, a 4th, and a 5th round to build around that. Just make sure you stick to these rounds. Don't get overzealous.
Yep. And then I would take Malik over Chase.
Don't take him over Chase. Move down if you can trade in that league. All right, bro.
No, I won't.
Okay, then that's the wrong move. But thank you, Gump. Appreciate you. See you tonight, Gumpy.
And then in my last pick, my last pick would be Tesla. That was just a funny.
Gump, don't draft Neighbors over Jamar Chase. Don't do it. It's not.
Oh, I would 100%. 100%.
It's not that it can't happen, but you need to take advantage of it, Gump.
I just don't feel good about. I don't feel good about Chase.
He's not hearing me. All right, Gump, appreciate you calling tonight. Travis, final thoughts. No talking sense into Gump. It's like talking to a wall.
Yeah, I think you can't change his mind. Wilkinson,
You're
Neighbors.
sure gonna do it.
I think someone might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
I think someone might have mentioned it the other night, but with Travis Hunter, the easiest solution, because they already have it built in baseball with Shohei Ohtani, is the easiest solution is these platforms just make him two separate players that you have to draft individually. One on defense, one on offense. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do that. Maybe they won't, though. That would just alleviate all arguments. But
yeah,
I'd be interested to see.
I think that
they got to do it soon either way, though, because people are drafting already.
I don't know that they're going to do that though. That's tough. Interesting though. That's crazy that they do that in baseball. I don't play fantasy baseball, but I could see that becoming brought up. But at the same time, like you said, they haven't done it yet. I don't know. I think it's going to come down to scoring. I think it's going to come down to a lot of people getting screwed because of the position eligibility. I guess you could say that. I mean, you currently can't start him at cornerback, but you will score defensive points. That's true. There are certain settings that will allow him, even though you're not starting a kick returner, right? That if kick returning points are counted, that your receiver who kick returns can get kick return points, even though you don't start a kick returner. So it is true in theory that, but with IDP, sometimes it's more complex than that. With IDP, it might like divide that and not allow that to happen, but you're just going to have to go into your projections. I don't know if that guy came back and looked into it or not, but I bet you it's as simple as going to the stats, go to the projections, filter by wide receiver, and see what they're projecting for Hunter. And calculate it and see what his receiving stats, if they equal the exact projection, then they're not counting any DB work. I mean, that's one way to kind of help understand, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a debacle.
Yeah, you just get, whatever they decide and whatever your league decides, you got to hold them to it, because there's going to be leagues that are trying to switch it up. Like we saw with Taysom Hill, and it's going to be worse than with Taysom Hill. Offense and defense.
Yeah, I don't know what Gump's thinking. All right, Travis, I'll see you tonight.
Yeah,
all right, later, bro.
Bye.
Maxim says Smitty's a New York Giant hater. Well, that's fake news.
Brees Hall.
Take a big laugh.
You know better, Maximum. You know better. I'm a Giant hater. Where do you get that? Where do you get that? Call in. Call in real quick, Maximum. You're throwing out fake news. Everyone in here is going to laugh at this. You know I love you, pal, but... Oh, because Neighbors over Chase? What? I think you're joking. I think you're joking. I don't think you really believe I'm a Giant hater, because if you do, the phone line's open. But everyone in here is going to laugh at that. But anyway. All right. See you later. Appreciate you all. Be back tonight. We'll be drafting on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. Link is pinned in the live chat. Link is in the description of the video. Code Smitty gets it done as well. See you all tonight. We'll be doing it live, doing it well. No, I think you're confused, Maximum, because no one's saying that Neighbors can't outscore Chase. Chase could get hurt. Neighbors could take that leap. He's literally, I mean, I don't understand who you think you're talking to. Who do you think you're talking to, bro? You're talking to a guy that you can't say this. You can't say these things to. You can't say things to me, Maximum, like, Smitty, you're like, I'm going to show you, or you're going to be wrong about, like, you can't. You have nothing to say to me on this. I don't understand what you're going, like, Maximo, I love you. You super chat all the time. I appreciate you. But right now you're doing this. You're doing this. It doesn't make any sense. Smitty, I'm going to say it all night long. What are you going to say to me? What are you going to say to me that's going to make me think anything? Wow, I don't understand what's going on here, Maximum. I'm not taking in what you're putting out. I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm a Giant hater. I literally predicted this before you did. It's right there. It's been on my bold predictions. I love the man. And I'm a Scatterboo connoisseur. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about right now. I love you, pal, but you're doing this right now. Just stop it. It's not a good look. I love you, pal. Maximum to the moon, but I think you... I'm always trying to call in. Call in real quick. I don't know what you're saying. It's like when someone just comes in and says something like, Smitty, you're going to be wrong about Gibbs this year. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Maximum? What are you talking about? We'll talk tonight. I appreciate you. But no, I mean, what are you saying? Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever big news breaks. Do it live. Poor C-Mac. C-Mac, you know you don't believe this. Brock Purdy, top 2 QB. And he ain't number 2. C-Mac, you don't even like Brock Purdy. You don't even like Brock Purdy. Maxim says, every time I call in, it says, welcome to Verizon. I mean, did you hit... Just listen to the instructions. I don't think you're dialing the right... Bro, you're not even calling the right phone line. Hold on a second, Maxim. Maxim, I'm calling tonight. I don't know what you're doing, bro. The phone number's on screen. I think you're dialing the old number. All right, I'm out of here. See you all tonight. Appreciate you. Even Maximum, who's on one right now. I don't know what the hell. He's usually very coherent.